Today we will talk about SAP Automatic Batch Determination. It was a topic that was requested by Adiraj, another subscriber for my channel. I hope I pronounced your name properly. In this tutorial I will show how you have to use first expire, first out or FEFO, and also LIFO and FIFO, last in, first out, and first in, first out. Please watch till the end. Have you seen my last video? It was about movement types, with the complete explanation of a new movement type creation, posting, and account determinations. Check it out. Also, if you don't want to miss any of these videos again, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Hello and welcome back to another weekly video. Today we will talk about SAP Batch Determination. As you can see in the screen, we have many concepts that are involved in this process, and I will try to explain one by one. In the logistics process, that is from procurement to sales, you are required to specify batches for individual business transactions. You can use batch determination for all types of goods movements, from the warehouse to find batches that meet defined specifications. In inventory management, you can use batch determination in goods movements when you are dealing with a good issue posting. For example, a consumption posting to a cost center, or with the stocks transfer, or with a transfer posting. In PP, in production, you can use batch determination in production and process orders, and run schedule headers to find suitable material components for the product to be produced, and pick these from stock. In sales, SD, it is possible to determine batches that match customer specification. Batch determination can be triggered at 2 points in the process, either when the sales order is entered or when the delivery is created. Or in warehouse, in WM, batch determination is used to optimize warehousing, for example, in view of stock removal strategy and replenishment from stores. The following steps must be defined in customizing for batch management. First, we need to use condition tables. So you will see that we were using the condition techniques that we was explained also some weeks ago. So first we had to define the condition tables. The condition table consists of the number of fields that are relevant for batch determination. There are some standard ones, but you are able to create the new ones, okay, if you need. Then second, we need access sequences. For each strategy type, there is a batch determination access sequence. The main function of the access sequence is to allow the strategy type to access the condition tables in a sequential manner. Third, the strategy types. These strategies are linked to the individual business transaction. In this way, you can, for example, make batch determination dependent on the movement type and on the plant when carrying out a goods movement. 4. Batch search strategies. You use this function to define rules for batch determination in particular business transaction. You specify the conditions under which batch determination is to be triggered and the search criteria that are to be used. 5. Then you need to assign the batch search procedure to the business transactions. 6. Selection classes. You store the selection criteria as characteristics in a selection class. It does not have to include all the characteristics that you use to classify your batch, only those that you want to use for selection. And finally, 7, the sort rules. You specify the characteristics according to which the system sorts the batches it finds. You can specify an ascending or descending sort sequence for each field. With all these elements in place, now we are going to, as usual, to show the customizing points, and then we'll go on with our demo. Let's start with our customizing. So we are already here in our IMG. So we go to Logistic General, Batch Management, Batch Determination, and Batch Check. And here we have all the steps that we have explained before. So first we have the condition tables. You will see that all these steps are divided in the module where it will be used. For example, inventory management, in PP, in SD, in WM. And in this example, we are going to use sub-determination, batch determination in inventory management. So first, you need to define your condition tables. So we have already some tables that are defined here. Okay, so we can take a look at one table. Yeah, and here we have 3 fields, but you can remove or add new fields or create new tables based on your requirement. Then we have the access sequence for inventory management. These are the standard ones where you have all the sequence in which the tables are being read. And inside you will have the fields. If you have not seen it yet, there is a video in my channel about the condition technique. Strategy types. Okay, define strategy types for inventory management. So here we can create our own with a copy. Set M01. We can copy from the standard one. Okay, and here we are not inserting the selection classes and the source sequence. We will do this, so this is more flexible than in our master data. Okay, or as part of our master data process, not here in customizing. So we create a condition type set M01. Then we have the procedure. So we will need to include our strategy type to the procedure with a new step, set M01. Okay, so here now we have step 10 ME01 and step 20 set M01. And the procedure ME0001. Then we have the batch search procedure allocation and check activation. So here we have to allocate the procedure to the business transaction or to the movement type that we want. In our case, ME0001, that contains our strategy type set M01. I have linked it to movement type 201, good issue for cost center. Okay, because we're going to test the good issue and with movement type 201, and the batch should be determined automatically. Then we mentioned that selection, classes, and sort rules, we will cover this as part of the master data. shelf life. In our case, we're going to test all the SAP batch determination using shelf life. So we are going to define first expired, first out method. So it means that the first batch that is going to expire, that is the one that has to be consumed. And then we are also going to do some tests with first in, first out FIFO or last in, first out LIFO. For that, we require the shelf life expiration date activation. Okay, so we need to activate the shelf life at plant level. So in our case, it will be plant 1000. And then for the movement type, okay, you see it is in 101 already there, and we're going to use also 501 that we have the check 1 that is enter and check. So when we're doing these movements, the shelf life functionality will be active. Okay, good. So now we can go to the next step, that is our master data. If this is the first time that you will be using the standard characteristics inventory management for batch in your client, then first it's better that you use transaction BMSM to copy all the standard characteristics. So here it's saying, do you want the standard feature in batch management to be updated? If you make a yes, it will update all the LOBM standard characteristics from the client 000. Okay, so here you see all the ones that were updated, all the ones used with LOBM. Yeah. Okay, so here we said that we want to create a SAP batch determination scenarios for first expire, first out, and then for FIFO and LIFO. Okay, so that is our requirement. So we will need to create a material master record, but before then we will need to create a class so the batches are classified. So let's go to logistics, central functions, and here we have batch management. Okay, here we have batch determination, and under environment we have the classification system. So we're going to create a class. Let's call it set batch 4. Okay, create. Call it batch determination class. And let's use some characteristics. So we will need the BFTAT expiration shelf life. Okay, it will be used for first expire, first out. And then we will need as well another one with the last good received for FIFO and LIFO. And that one is this one, date of last good received, LWEDT. Okay, so we have now our class set batch 4. So now we can create a material master record. And we're going to select some views that we need. In plan 1000 and store allocation 0001. test batch determination. So now let's populate some relevant data. Here we have the classification view, and we're going to assign our set batch 4 class that we have these two characteristics. And we're going to use a batch management material. Then we are in the store allocation view. So here it's important that we use the shelf life data. So we want, for example, it could be different for each requirement, but we can say that we need at least 10 days of minimum shelf life. Okay? If we have less than 10 days, then we cannot accept that batch. And the total shelf life, we can say 2 months, like 60 days. And then we need to provide the accounting data. Okay, so material 241 is created. Good. Now, batch determination, and here we have the search strategy and the selection classes and sort. So let's go with selection class. We're going to create one. Set, let's call it selection cell class. Okay. Selection class. And we are going to use as well some classes that we need, some characteristics. And these are the ones that we need for the selection criteria. Okay? So we're going to use delivery date. We're going to use the remaining shelf life, RLZ. And expiration date shelf life, BFDAT. Okay, so this is our selection class, set cell class. Okay. Now we need the sort rule. So let's call it FEFO, first expire, first out. I already exist, set FEFO 1. Now, this is the sorting criteria. So we need the shelf life for FEFO. And we're going to use in ascending order. So first in, it will be first out. Okay. So now that we define the selection class and the sort rule, we can create the batch search strategy. I didn't take note of the material master that we just create. 241. Okay. So let's create a search strategy. Set M01 that we created in customizing. And we can use the access sequence and condition table movement type plant material. Movement type 201, plant 1000. and for material 241. Okay, then we need to call our selection class that was set cell class, I think, or something like that. Set cell class, this one. Let's define as well in our requirement that we want to look or select for batches that have more or equal 30 days until the expiration date. Okay. Yeah. And then we have the sort rule, and this one set FIFO 1. Yeah, it was BFTAT in ascending order. Okay, so now we have the customizing in place for the FEFO. Now that we have in place our customizing and master data, we need to create some batches. So let's do some good receipts for our part 241. Let's do batches of 5 units. We're going to use movement 501 that we have seen in customizing. It has the shelf life active. Okay. And you see here in batch, now we have the date of manufacturing and the shelf life. Okay. So as we define 60 days as total shelf life, we need to enter the date of manufacturing, and the system will calculate the expiration shelf life with those 60 days. So today's 27, so let's say it was produced on the 13th. And we're going to use the internal batch number. Okay, so now we have, let's take a look to this document. And here we have batch 44 that was created. You see the date of manufacturing was on the 13th of July, and the expiration date is on the 11th of September. Okay. And here you can see the classification for the batch. So let's do another batch, another good receipt. For same part, same plan, same store allocation. And now let's also change the posting date and the document date. Let's do this a different day, so then we can play with FIFO and LIFO. And let's put a different, instead of a 13, let's go to 6. Okay. So we will have batch 45 with expiration date on 4th of September. Okay, let's put another one. And in this case, let's go to the 29. And let's do this on the 28. Okay, so now we have 3 batches. And let's check what happened if we want to make a good receipt for a batch that has less than 10 days. So 27. So let's go to the 5. Let's put here like a 30. So this will be less than 10 days until the expiration. So let's see. So you see, this is an error, a shortfall of 8 days against remaining shelf life. Okay, so we are not allowed to receive a batch like this. Okay, so let's change it. Let's do on the 22nd. Okay. Good. Now we have 4 batches creating for this part. We can take a look to the batch cockpit for part 241. So here we can see all our batches. The classification status is green, so it's classified. Here we have the different manufacture dates, the day of the last good received, and the expiration dates. Okay. If we make this smaller, you can see, for example, for batch 44. Here we have the basic data 1. And you see that the class has the values. Okay, so the batches are classified. Yeah. So in all of them, good. So let's leave this one here, and let's try to consume one of the batches. So it will be a good issue. Let's say 10 units. Okay, now we go to the quantity tab and we click on this icon, stock determination. Okay, so now here you have the batch determination screen. So you see that we have 3 batches, okay, that are the one available, and the 10 units were split on 5 on these 2 batches. You see the sorting, the expiration date. We have batch 46 that is expire on the 28th of August. And we had this one on 4th of September and this one on 11th of September. Okay, so if we take a look here, yeah, we see that we have all these 44, 45, and 46. Yeah? And the first one is the 46. Yes? Because it's the one that is going to expire first. Okay? But if you remember, we have also created the batch 47, and the 47 is not even shown here. Okay, so why? So let's take a look at the information first. Here we have the condition record for our strategy type. Here we have the log, and we can expand everything. So you can see batch stored are being read, and we have all our 4 batches. And then when we are in the selection criteria, you see that it selects 44, 45, and 46, but 47 is not selected. Okay, why? Because the expiration date is less than 30 days. And in our selection class, we have mentioned that we want only batches that have at least 30 days. Okay, so 47 was not selected. So we have strategy info, all the info with our expiration date, shelf life in ascending order. Here you see the selection criteria for the batches. If you remember, we have made this plus or greater than 30 days. Okay. So here the first one is 46, then 45, and then 44. Okay. So let's do not copy this one. Let's see if we have still open. Okay, so what we can play a little more here, we can make a change in the rule, set FEFO 1, just for play. No? Let's say that now we want this in descending order. Okay, it will not be anymore first expire, first out. Okay, but just to see how the system works. So now we have make this in the other way around. Okay, let's see now what we have. So now you see it's in the opposite order. Okay, before we have first selected the 46, then the 45, and now here we are selecting first the one that will expire last, okay, on September. So this is the opposite of FEFO, let's say, okay? But just as an example, as this is working. We have the selection criteria and the strategy info, and now you see that is, first we have this one thick, now this is the one that is thick, okay? So this is how first expire, first out procedure will work. So let's do not take it. Let's go back, and if we now leave FEFO as it should be, we have to change the sort rule again. So let's change the sort rule, set FIFO 1 in ascending order. Okay. And if we try this one again. Okay, and now we can see now it is correct again. Okay, so the first batch to be consumed is on the 46. That it's expiring on August. So this is the first expired batch will be consumed first. Good, so this is how FIFO works. We are not going to take the batches so we can use for the next example. So let's see. Okay, let's go back here. So now, let's say that we want to use FIFO and LIFO. Okay, so we will need to change or create new sort rules. Okay, so let's call it set first in, first out 2. Let's take a look again at our characteristics. So now we need the date of the last good receipt. Okay, so we are going in ascending order. So first in, first out based on the good receipt date So now we have set FIFO2 as sort rule, and then we need to change our strategy. So now the sort rule will not be anymore set FIFO, but it will be set FIFO2. And it is based on LWEDT characteristic in ascending order. Okay. Let's try to pose a good issue again. So let's see. And now you see that the sorting is no more on the expiration date, but on the good receipt date. Okay, so we have the batch 45, 44, and 46 with these good receipt dates. We can check the same in the cockpit. Yeah. The first one is the 45. Last good receipt was on the 26th. Yeah, the 45. Then we have the 44 on the 27. 44 on the 27. And you see that on the 27th we have as well the batch 47. And we mentioned that this one is not selected because our selection class said that we need the remaining 30 days. And this is not accomplished that rule. Okay. And then at the end we have this 46 we could receive on the 28th. Yes. So now you can see this is plus 30 days, so this is why the batch 47 was not selected. And the strategy, you see, this is based on the date of the last good received in ascending order. So now this is FIFO, okay? So now let's try to put this as a LIFO. So let's go out from here. We can still use the same rule, or we can create a new one that is LIFO, okay? But it will be the same. The only point is that we need to change, instead of ascending order, it should be in descending order, okay? So we are leaving the same characteristic, but no, it has no sense that it's called FIFO, okay? Because now it is going to run as a LIFO, okay? But in this way, we don't need to create a new sort rule and change again our strategy. So let's see how it goes now. Okay. Okay, now you see that the first batch is the one with the last good receipt. Okay, so now this is LIFO, last in, first out. So we had covered all the three scenarios for batch determination for FEFO, fair expire, first out, and we have also done that in the other way, okay, with the different ascending, we try both ascending and descending order based on the expirations. And now we have to do the same, but based on the last good receipt. Okay, so first we try in ascending with FIFO, and then in descending with LIFO. Okay. So now that we are taking the proposal, we see that our line that we have 10 units, and then it was split in 2 units of 5 based on the batches. Okay, so we can now save. Okay, and we can take a look at the stock overview. So now we should have only 2 batches, okay, 45 and 47. 44 and 46 were the 2 that were consumed.
Have you enjoyed this video? If so, please give a like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I see you next time. Bye.